Hello, this is Brad Cahoon with Eurofins, and we're going to talk today about some questions that we've received regarding UCMR 5. I've been with Eurofins now for 25 years. I've been involved with UCMR since UCMR 1 through the current UCMR 5, and have been a key player in helping our clients with issues regarding getting their sampling done effectively to comply with the rule. Okay. Here's a question we often receive. Do labs send bottles automatically, or does the utility have to request them each sample event? So depending on whether you're a groundwater or surface water, you may have 2 or 4 sample events. Some labs do pre-schedule bottles and others may not. It depends upon your lab, and that's a great question to talk to your lab about. At Eurofins, our system is set up so that we pre-schedule bottles. The utility does not need to ask for bottles every single sample event. With our system, we send bottles usually a week in advance of your sample event based upon your schedule. This is another great question. What happens if I forget to approve my data within the EPA time limit? If you forget to approve your data within the EPA time limit, EPA has a system set up so it'll auto approve and move from the data approval part of the CDX forward to EPA. This is important. During UCMR 1, they did not have this feature. And what was happening then were utilities were forgetting to approve their data. It never moved to EPA, so EPA never received the data, and the utilities were getting notices of violation for lack of reporting. That was fixed by this new process where auto approval happens. So if you do not approve your data, don't worry. After 30 days, it moves forward automatically to EPA, and you will be complete with the rule. Here's another question regarding something that commonly happens. I want to change my sampling schedule. How do I do that? Well, the way you do that now is you have to talk to the sample coordinator at EPA and tell them what your new schedule wants to be, and they will go ahead and make that change. Unfortunately, we've passed the window where you could do that automatically all on your own. That window closed December 31st, 2022. So now that the CDX is locked down, you can only change your schedule by contacting the EPA sample coordinator, and they'll help you with that. Okay, here's something that commonly does happen, and if you haven't done this before, it may be new to you. What if a utility doesn't operate all their wells year-round? So this is a situation where perhaps your schedule has you sampling during a period when your well's not going to be on, or some of your wells are not going to be on. According to the EPA rule, they do not require you to turn on a well just to sample. So you don't have to do that sampling. EPA is looking to get the maximum amount of data points possible. So they would like you to set your schedule so that when you do operate wells, for instance, during peak demand periods, you have your schedule set so that you can pull samples while those wells are on. So if you've got a current schedule where your wells are off during the sample date in there, contact the sample coordinator with EPA and tell them your situation and work with them to help you set up a schedule that will maximize the number of data points that you will be collecting. And here's another good question. I have data from my state required PFAS monitoring. Can I use that data for my UCMR 5 monitoring? That's a good question. Many states do require monitoring. They've got MCLs in place already for PFAS compounds, and you may already have data from the exact same entry points that you're taking for your UCMR 5. Unfortunately, you can't use this data for UCMR 5. UCMR 5 monitoring is unique. It has different QC than you may be using for your state, different reporting limits than you may be using for your state, and EPA requires that you monitor again according to your UCMR 5 monitoring schedule from the entry point to the distribution system and report that data to the CDX. So even though you're doing state monitoring, you also have to do this UCMR 5 monitoring. Thank you very much for listening today, and I hope these answers to these questions have been helpful. If you have additional questions or you need additional help with UCMR 5, please contact us at www.eurofinsus.com/UCMR. Thank you.